So the lead witness today, Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, is testifying on Capitol Hill before the Intelligence Committee's impeachment inquiry. And he's asked this question. I want you to take a listen.
You went to Ukraine for the inauguration?
Correct.
May 20th. At any point during that trip, did Mr. Daniluk offer you a position of defense minister with the Ukrainian government?
He did.
And how many times did he do that?
I believe it was 3 times.
So let just stop right there. So, I mean, this is, I would say, highly unusual that the key witness in the impeachment inquiry of the President of the United States was Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, was offered the defense ministry for the country of Ukraine.
It strikes me that the Ukrainian government, which has always sought influence in the West and in Russia, sought to influence policy in Washington, D.C. by offering him this particular position. And if he had accepted this particular position, he would have insight in terms of American policy that a Ukrainian would likely not have. So I think if he had accepted this position, it would provide clear and unmistakable benefits to the Ukrainian government. And so I think all Americans should be concerned without impugning Mr. Vindman's integrity and loyalty with respect to this particular offer.
You know, I wore the uniform for 26 years. Just because you wear a uniform does not mean that you're immune to political bias. There are people that in uniform that should not allow their political bias to influence their job, but they do. And as Jordan said earlier, while 99.9% of people in uniform are honorable people, there are those who are not honorable, and some of them are in Fort Leavenworth today. So the fact that he's wearing a uniform, I appreciate his service, and I'm not saying he's done anything wrong, but that in and of itself does not prove that he doesn't have political bias.
These are the 4th and 5th people that Adam Schiff wanted you to hear from.
Right.
In the second week, this is who was opening the hearing. This is a guy whose boss said in the closed door sessions, I have concerns with Mr. Vindman that he does not exercise appropriate judgment as to whom he would say what to. So he was being excluded from a lot of phone calls about Ukraine because of his big mouth. Okay, that's from his boss. He'll be asked about that later today, I'm sure, in public again, but he's already testified to that. Why wasn't Colonel Vindman on any calls with you that period and Ambassador Taylor? Well, define the relevant time period. It goes on. Did Vindman complain about that? Yes. Why? The nature, the subject matter. Did it have anything to do with trust in Colonel Vindman? And then he watched it and he said, I had concerns about Lieutenant Colonel Vindman's judgment. Judgment with respect to what? Among the discussions I had with Dr. Hill, she's also testifying later this week, in the transition was our team, my team, its strength and its weaknesses, the whole team. And the only thing that he acknowledges is, and Fiona and others raised concern about Alex's judgment. Any concerns? Did anyone bring concerns that they believe Colonel Vindman had leaked something in the past? Yes.
Not a scintilla of evidence has emerged suggesting that a crime was ever committed by this administration with respect to Ukraine or any other entity. That is the clear and unmistakable bottom line. And so pursuant to the Constitution, and you don't have to be a constitutional scholar like Adam Schiff to understand that in order to impeach the president, you need to find evidence of a high crime or a misdemeanor. There is no evidence of a crime, and we all know it. So this is a faux impeachment inquiry. And yes, it may have consequences, but it's very important for the American people to know that there is no evidence that supports this inquiry.